Excuse me, miss. What's that you're listening to?
Well, it's a podcast. It's all about this couple from England who are in a lifestyle and they talk about their adventures.
So is that child-friendly then, is it?
No. They say lots of naughty things and they swear a lot. But would you like to listen?
Get in the gym or to your car. With our advice you could go far. We fuck things up and we make mistakes. And talk about our sexy dates. It's getting hard for this to rhyme. Just as well 'cause it's bed hopping time.
Welcome to episode 39 of the Bed Hoppers podcast. My name is Mr. H. Over with me is...
Mrs. H.
Yay!
I got my name right.
Well done.
Thanks.
Well done. It's been a busy couple of weeks, hasn't it?
Super busy.
Super busy. What have we been up to? Lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff, yeah. We've been doing all the stuff.
Yep.
All of the things. So, in this episode, we've got a couple of bits to talk about. One is a club review,
Yep.
because we travelled for a few hours.
Yep.
Not 2 hours, few hours.
Well, a chihuahua and a bit.
2 hour and a bit, 2 hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we went, then we had an experience.
Is this the one where I get to rage?
You get to rage a little bit.
And flip a table.
Do 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 do.
Wait, that's the thing to Ghostbusters, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a
Okay.
clue, if ever there was one. Right,
Yeah.
what's on in the background before we start?
I have no idea.
I've got £90,000 in my pyjamas. I don't know why I started singing that. That wasn't really what this...
Okay, well, let's see. There's a man in a gimp mask with some swords that have turned into, like, umbrellas. That's weird.
Crossbows.
Okay, if you say so. And he's just got out of a gondola.
Do you want me to give you a clue?
Oh, is it something musketeer?
Yay!
Okay. But it's not that. It's not D'Artagnan.
It's not D'Artagnan. It is the Three Musketeers.
Oh. This is awkward.
Yeah.
This isn't my cup of tea.
What were they called?
Well, one of them just popped up. Oh, it's not that one.
It's not Milady, I can tell you that.
Athos.
Yeah.
D'Artagnan.
He's not called D'Artagnan, you...
Don something?
Don Juan de Marco.
Oh, I don't know. Something with Italian in it.
I think we should pull out of this one.
Pantheon. I don't know.
Panthroian, straight from Thundercats.
Gondolian. I'm just making stuff up now.
Swordian.
Go on then, you tell me. What are they called? Aramist. That
That's
sounds like
nearly.
aftershave, doesn't it?
Aramis.
Oh, is it
Athos
actually
and
one?
Porthos, I believe.
Ooh. Did they name the aftershave after him?
Aramis.
Yes.
Yes. There's also one called Lynx Africa. Or, for our friends in America, Axe Africa.
Oh, yes, it is called Axe, isn't it?
Axe, yes.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
It's like when you go over to the States and they give you Lay's crisps, not Walkers. Like, what the fuck is that about?
Yeah, but actually, I think they sound better.
What, Lay's? You love a good
Yeah.
Lay.
I was like, Lay's? What is that about?
Well, being lazy while you eat them?
No, it's like, I don't know, laying about.
Is Walker's insinuating that you need to go for some exercise afterwards? Because that's probably true.
So yeah, Lay's.
Okay, good. We've clearly nailed everything that we want to talk about on this week's podcast. Thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, it is Aramis. Look, there you go. Brilliant. You were right. Aramis.
Thanks. I'm glad.
Anyway,
Anyways,
moving on.
and moving swiftly onwards. So let's go with our club review first. So we went to...
As the song would suggest, the mamba.
That's
But
not...
it wasn't the mamba. It was Purple Mamba.
What song are you talking about?
The Mambo number 5.
Oh, okay.
That we were singing last time.
I thought you were referring to my...
No, that wasn't Mamba.
No, I know that's not Mambo number 5.
So it was Purple Mamba.
Purple Mambo number 5.
Yes. And yes, this was in Nottingham.
Nottingham.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Of Robin Hood fame.
Oh. Okay,
Yeah, I'm going to just do that all the way through.
please don't. No.
What?
So, anyway, Purple Mamba.
So for us, it's about, as we said, Chihuahua and a half,
Yep.
which is 3 hours.
Yeah.
Chihuahua
the national
is
unit of measure.
Yeah, a Chihuahua is 2 hours.
Yes, exactly that. And another hour would be half a Chihuahua. So
Yeah, half a Chihuahua. So I don't think anyone else uses this measure of time. It's just us.
no, just us. But it works for me.
So we jumped in the car and went up there. We left on sort of Saturday afternoon, didn't we?
Yeah.
So I drove. Always fun.
Well, yeah, because no one wants to get in my stupid car. So.
No. It's a little pink Barbie car. And there's only so much shame we can take on the drive.
Yeah, and luggage.
And it goes 3 miles an hour, so it's...
And you can fit like one bag in there, so...
Maybe even a small Chihuahua.
About that.
What was that noise? Was that the sound of a really silent but shitty fart?
Oh, gross. No.
Okay, good.
No.
Glad it wasn't. Anyway, so we drove up to Nottingham.
Yes.
And we stayed in a hotel.
Yeah, which is lovely.
So what we did find, actually, first thing, finding a hotel that wasn't expensive was quite tough.
Yeah, it does add to the overall cost of things, like we've talked about before, when you have to start stacking up hotel stays and things. Which is why it's so great when there's accommodation attached to a club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got to the hotel, which was quite nice.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Which is nice. Although strangely the bathroom door wouldn't slide across properly.
Nah, but hey, it's fine.
No, that's okay. And we set our room up for success by dumping all of our clothes all over the place and assuming that we wouldn't be bringing anyone back to the hotel.
Okay, fine.
I think that was the general assumption.
Well, yeah, because, you go into a club, so you kind of negate that. Whereas if you're going on a kind of a meet instead, I guess you need a hotel instead.
True. Mm-hmm. So having strewn my clothes everywhere.
Yeah, as usual.
And set up some music in the room. We had a quick look around Nottingham, which was very nice, actually.
I really loved it.
I liked it.
Stomped around. There's a Hooters there.
I know. We didn't go there.
No.
We were meant to go there.
Yes, but we didn't.
We didn't go to Hooters.
However, it's good to know.
I know. Very good to know.
Yeah.
So then we called an Uber.
Yep.
To get to the club.
Yep. Wasn't too far away.
So it was about 10 minutes from town.
Yeah,
so it's not too bad. The guy, because it was an Uber, he just took us to whatever the blip said on his sat nav. So he didn't know. We typed in Purple Mamba Club, and it came up on Uber. So the guy dropped us off, and he didn't know what the Purple Mamba Club was. So he was quite curious about it.
It was like he was there outside Diagon Alley, going, "Well, I can see that this is where we need to be, but there's nothing here." So it was like a secret entrance somewhere.
Well, it is kind of so. There's a main road, with a row of sort of shops or whatever. And it was literally down a little alleyway into a little sort of cul-de-sac.
Tucked away.
And fortunately, you could see the purple neon sign at the front. So we were
rather
able
helpfully glowing purple from the back.
Yes, as we were sort of wondering whether we were in the right place.
Yeah, we saw.
We saw the distant purple light. Not that distant, really. It was only like a walk of about 30 seconds.
It was really handy. Yeah.
So we wandered over, and it wasn't initially that clear as to which door you went through, was it?
No, that's true.
So we
were like, is this it?
Is this it? Are we sure this is it? So we just went on through.
And this is where it was really funny, because I opened the door expecting to go into
a reception area.
Yeah, or even like a corridor, I guess. Or, when you go into a door, you expect to kind of like have to walk a little bit before you get into a venue. I expect to go to Narnia through every door. I'm so disappointed so often. And did you see Mr. Tumnus when you get in there? I did. Him and I had a great old time. But however, you open the door and you literally are right in there. You're right in a little bar, aren't you? Yeah, I kind of almost fell into it because I was so surprised that I was in there already. So I was like, oh, hi. And it was interesting because we weren't immediately sure who was staff and who was just there. Because literally right in front of you is a kind of little bar. Yeah, so sort of describing the room. So it's very purple in there. It definitely is very purple. It's got that. And then to the right there was a little bar, which is quite nice. Mm-hmm. And then there were a few seats dotted around. There were a few people sort of hanging around downstairs. Yeah, maybe like space for, I don't know, 8 to 10 people in that room. Yeah, thereabouts. Like seating. Yeah. And very quickly they worked out that we'd just stumbled in and someone came over to help us. Yes, because at that point we were sort of, do we go to the bar or do we walk further through the venue to find a sort of check-in process. So, but you know, they were very quick at spotting that we were there.
So they immediately got out their iPad to sign us up.
Yeah,
Which is quite cool because they took us through the rules. They asked if we'd been to any other clubs. They were really hot up on the consent thing, which is great. They walked us all through the information. They took our details. We signed up.
very quick and easy.
Very simple, very easy. And I love the fact that they really talked through the consent stuff.
I like the fact that they scrolled through their kind of membership rules and club etiquette rules and actually didn't just give it to you to read. They kind of stood there with you while you scrolled through it.
They helped me with the big words.
Did they?
Yeah, they did. The fire engine.
Yeah.
So they did that, which was great. And then they gave us a bit of a tour.
And we got a little membership card.
We got a little membership card. Yeah. So immediately, as you go past the bar, you go into a little sort of holding area, a little corridor place.
Yeah, there's like a few coat racks and very few lockers, but they're quite open about the fact there's not many lockers there.
Yeah, and I think we can open them with really that it's a small club. It's not a huge place, so it doesn't need a massive amount of lockers.
No, that's very true.
And they did say if you wanted stuff held, they could do that behind the bar for you if they needed to. So, but what was and I love this actually. I really like this. As soon as we got in, there were people from the NHS, from the National Health Service, and they were doing testing.
Yes, as in STD.
Yeah,
testing for screening.
Yeah. Testing for screening. They weren't just screening; they were testing for screening.
Wow, it was quite interesting because immediately we went in there and I saw these guys with like syringes and sort of little areas where people were having blood taken, and I was like, what is this? But they very quickly said, oh yeah, they're in tonight. They come in every 3 months, which is amazing, absolutely amazing.
So impressed.
Yeah, I really wish more clubs would do this.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and I think they had a good 10 or so people that actually got tested on the night, which, given how many people were actually in the club, was quite a lot actually.
I took the opportunity to talk to the nurses at some point for about 15 minutes, and they were so complimentary about what they were asked to do, and they loved the fact that they come in and do that. And they were very, very. They talked very freely about the fact that a lot of people in my lifestyle probably should take advantage of the free services the NHS offer. So I think it's a really good awareness that the clubs are kind of encouraging people to be safe. Yeah,
I was so impressed. Yeah, really impressed. So that ticked a box for me. And then next to in that little passageway, there's a little bathroom. Now they did tell us that the bathroom is being done up at the moment, and it's being worked
it's under
on.
renovation.
And that should be complete. They've dropped us a little tweet saying that should be finished this week.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So to be fair, there's 2 toilets in there. But there's 1 cubicle, if that makes sense. So there's just a little tiny room where, so you could both sit down and go for a wee if you wanted to.
But but 2 of you can lock yourselves in there. Yeah. But there's not 2 separate bathrooms.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's going to change or not. I don't know if that'll...
Yeah, I was a little bit baffled by that.
Yeah.
However, that's fine.
However, it was clean, it was fine. Obviously, they were clearly having some building work done on it. So, but they've told us that's being sorted out, so...
Good.
Which was fine. So then you go up the stairs.
Yeah.
And you're immediately into a little sort of seating area, a little sort of upstairs front room.
Disco front room?
Yeah, it's like a disco front room. It's got loads of little sparkly lights going on. There's some really nice sofas. There's a nice little rug.
That rug was actually quite big.
Yeah.
He was very proud of his rug.
So we got shown around by the grumpy barman, I think people have called him, but he really wasn't.
He was a delight.
He was funny.
Yeah, I really liked him. I liked his jokes.
Yeah. Did you? Really?
I laughed and encouraged him.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
But I have to say, I quite like the front room. From what I understand, it used to be a hot tub area. Quite small, wet facilities area, and they changed that and put this seating in instead. And from the reviews I've read on the sort of forums, that seems to have gone down really well.
Well, it was really nice, and it was quieter than what it was downstairs.
Definitely.
In terms of you could hear things better, and you could actually have a conversation upstairs.
Yeah.
But you could also play while you were upstairs, which is quite nice.
Yes.
Now, they did have bathrobes and towels. And the other thing, everywhere there was condoms and lube.
Now, I loved the fact that there were great big bowls everywhere in every room with a great big selection of condoms. I think that's great.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of clubs will give you those kind of those things if you ask for them, but they're not immediately obvious. So I think, again, it's just encouraging.
Distance, wasn't it?
I still think it's encouraging people to play safe.
They also had, which I neglected to mention at the bar, and it's a licensed bar, I should say, they also had a big bowl of chocolates and sweets.
I was going to mention that.
Really?
Yeah.
Why didn't you then?
Well, I was going to save it because we'd gone past the bar area, up the stairs already.
Okay.
Without so much as the bar you'll leave.
All right.
So I thought, I'll save a little bowl of chocolate till later.
That's a great little story, that.
But
by the way, there's a bowl on the bar that's got chocolate and mince. Great story, love. I loved it.
I thought that was a nice touch. And it wasn't just crap chocolate, it was nice chocolate.
It was nice.
It was lovely chocolate.
It was nice. So we'll come back to the bar in a little bit then.
Okay.
All right. So on our tour, so the next room was a gangbang room, wasn't it?
Yes, and it had a sign on the wall saying gangbang.
Yeah.
I loved. Like a real pop culture type thing. I liked it.
Like you could be confused. So that had like a sort of
all black walls and black sort of white clean play area, that kind of thing. Not a huge room, but big enough for what it was built as. Yeah, I guess. And again, nice big bowl of condoms in the corner, little lights, packets of wipes.
I believe there was a pair of angel wings on the side as well, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Angel wings?
Yeah, like a sort of black feathery kind of...
Oh, yeah. I thought that was in the other room. But
it might have been in the other room.
Right.
I remember some black feathers.
All right, cool.
That was good. So the next room along was a little bondage room, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was our little kink room.
Little kink room. It was Dinky Kink.
Dinky Kink.
Dinky Kink. The Dinky Kink room.
I really liked that little room, and granted we didn't go in it at all during the night. Other than the tour, but it was really smart, like red and black, with a kind of little kinky chair in the entrance bit.
They had a few little tools for you to play with.
Yes, it was nicely set up.
And they said they had a dungeon master that comes in every few months or so to give people a bit of a demo. So yeah, it was quite a nice little room. Then what was next? We had a little cinema room.
Movie room.
A little movie room, which was basically a few sofas, and some porn being projected onto the wall.
Yes, it was like a full wall of porn. Really,
Wall of porn.
Wall of porn.
You make it sound like there was lots of different porns.
I do, don't I?
It's just one big porn.
It was just one big porn.
One big gestalt porn, formed of all the other porns. So there was that, which was quite nice. Looked fairly nice. Again, quite a cosy little room.
Yeah.
Next, there was the bit that you liked.
It was the glory hole, the female glory hole area. But what I really liked was its really pretty decor. It was like peacock cushions.
It was like peacock and hen.
Yeah, nice little pictures around it. It was just like a boudoir type, pretty little area where
It's a little cubby hole, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah, but it's like a cozy little den, and I think women would go in there and genuinely feel like, oh, this is nice. This isn't sleazy. This is nice.
Why can't I go there and feel that way? I'm not a woman.
I don't think you would have gone in there and noticed the cushions particularly.
I might have liked the cushions.
Did you notice the cushions?
The better the cushion, the better the pushing or something. I don't know.
Dear. Did you notice the cushions?
Yes, I did.
Until I pointed them out?
It had peacocks on it. Look, trust me, we've got enough fucking cushions at home. Literally, there are cushions everywhere in our house, gentle listener.
Can't have enough cushions.
You can have enough cushions. If it takes you 8 minutes to get to bed because you're still removing fucking cushions, and not fucking cushions, just fucking cushions, then you probably have too many fucking cushions.
I'll be honest, I like a cushion.
I know you like a cushion.
I don't think I'm alone here.
Well, you are on that side of the sofa, yeah. So that was that little room, and then there was a. Oh,
no! But the last room was a kind of bedroom that was had a really nice decor. It was like the Dieter von Teese room, so it was all white and pale kind of furnishings, and it had a great big picture on the wall of Dieter von Teese.
Who I really didn't know who it was.
No, you didn't.
No.
It was really nice. It was really stylish, really lovely, clean facilities, sort of nice big bed, pretty lamps everywhere.
Had a little watching chair as well, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a really nice kind of bedroom. Yeah, it looked really nice.
Probably what you'd like our bedroom to look like.
Well, the point is, it didn't look like you just literally stepped into a sleazy kind of sex club.
No.
It was like a nice place where you'd like feel really chilled out.
I can't hear the word sleazy without thinking of Arnold Schwarzenegger and sleazy, demure,
athletic. Yes.
So, and that was it really. That was all there was to the club. It wasn't very big.
Quite slopey ceilings as you go upstairs. So
Slopey ceilings.
Slopey ceilings. So taller people might want to watch their heads a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. We were all right.
Yeah, because we're quite short. So I think my overall feeling was the club was much smaller than I expected. However, they made excellent use of the space they had.
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job
Yeah.
of making it feel warm, friendly, clean. It was nicely decorated.
Yeah.
It felt like a nice place.
I think so, yeah. Really well looked after.
Yeah.
I loved the tour we got. He was so thorough.
The staff were really good.
Yeah, they were lovely.
Now, the one thing I did think about it, actually, there were a lot of single guys. So much so that when we were driving back, I came up with a little joke, which I told you to write down. Do you want to say that joke?
You said they were more male than the post office.
I was a genius when I said that.
Was genius.
I know.
Yeah. So I'll be honest, I did find the heavy male presence to be not intimidating, but maybe just not quite my vibe.
Your cup of tea.
Yeah.
Now, what I will say is actually they were the best behaved single guys we've ever encountered.
I completely agree. I didn't feel any of them were pushy.
No, and we chatted to many of them, talking to them about the podcast, telling them about different stuff, and they were all very friendly. So the vetting process for when they came through the door, and we watched it a couple of times as someone came in, they got asked set questions, and there was a limit to the number that they would allow in, I suspect.
Yeah, but it's like a ratio. I think we asked at the beginning what the ratio normally was, and it was as expected, in line with most clubs, really, where they don't let too many in.
Yeah.
But however, if you're not into single guys and you are only looking for couples or maybe females, then you might have been a little bit disappointed that night. I think there was lots of males.
Yeah. And I don't know how many people know about the club, so I don't know if it's starting up again, whether it's firing, sort of trying to gather a new audience or new punters, but it certainly felt quite single man heavy. But the flip side to that is, whilst we didn't want to play with any of them, they were all very friendly and very well behaved and very polite.
I agree. They were nice to talk to. They definitely didn't give single males a really bad rep like some do.
No, they weren't zombie shuffle wankers.
No, not at all.
Not as far as what we witnessed. There were about 3 other couples there that night, I think.
Yeah, there weren't loads of couples at all, which, again, like I say, if you were going all that way really to find a couple, then unless you knew a couple that were going there and you planned to meet, it may not just give you enough of a choice. Yeah,
I think, and this is where I don't know whether it's newly reopened or been done up again, or whether it's a new club, and that's probably something I probably should have really found out. But it felt like not enough people knew that it existed there, and I would expect a lot more people would go. If it was down the road from me, I'd love it. It'd be great. The atmosphere felt really friendly. So in the bar, though, a couple of things. So you wanted to talk about some chocolates.
Yes. Well, I did already talk about.
Was that the limit of the story? You made it sound like it was an amazing story.
Well, like some chocolate utopia.
Yeah, like we travelled for 3 hours and dragged ourselves through the cold, misty night, stumbled into this club, and lo and behold, on the bar, there was a plate of chocolate.
Well, the chocolates are a nice touch.
Yeah, it was a nice touch.
Really nice.
But there was also a guy playing guitar that night.
Live music.
They had some live music.
Which I understand happens quite a bit for live music.
Yeah, he was shit up. I really enjoyed it.
Really great.
Now, I'll caveat this. It was almost impossible to have a conversation while he was playing downstairs in that little bar.
I agree.
However, I really liked him.
But you could have gone upstairs out of the way if you'd really desperately wanted to have proper conversations.
Yeah.
It wasn't impossible, it just made it a little bit more challenging.
Well, yeah. So we spent a long time chatting to one single guy, and I didn't hear a word he was saying.
Did you?
So I was just nodding and smiling and
Yeah, no.
throwing my head back in a wild abandon of laughter. Hopefully he wasn't telling me that his mother had just died or something like that.
No, we didn't mention any of that.
Ah, you're such a card, my friend. What's that? Oh, this is really sad. How embarrassing.
No, it was, you had to really lean in to hear what each other was saying, because obviously the live music made that quite a challenge. But as I said, you could have taken yourself away from that environment if you'd wanted an in-depth conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
And later on we did.
Yeah.
But I really did like the music, so I kind of wanted to stay and listen to him as well.
To be fair, if you were local, it would be great just to rock up and watch the entertainment. And then if you hook up with someone, great. And if you don't, then you've actually gone to a really nice little social club. And they really harvested that feeling of it being a nice little place. It wasn't... Obviously, a lot of them knew each other, I think.
That was very clear. But as people did come in for the evening, it was clear that they'd met before and that the barman knew them. And they were like, oh, how are you? It's nice to see you. And I like that.
But it wasn't intimidating. It wasn't like a cliquey atmosphere. It was very much a welcoming, friendly... It wasn't like... you enter a pub and the whole place goes and turns around and watches you. People
you don't like strangers around here.
Don't go on the moors. So there was none of that. And I really liked it as a result.
Yeah, I did.
And I think, so overall, my take is that as a club, it was nicely run, nicely managed, well worth a visit. Would I drag myself out for 3 hours to go to see it?
I think if you knew people at that end of the country and you were making a trip to see some people that you knew, I would definitely suggest meeting them there.
Yes, without doubt.
Yes, because it was worth the visit. But it's a long way for us to travel on the off chance that you're going to meet some people.
Yeah. And I think that may be the challenge that they've got, is trying to get enough people through the door. And hopefully if people listen to this and fancy giving it a go, they'll pop along.
Definitely.
And they'll... I don't even know how busy it is on a regular night.
I don't know.
It was just a normal Saturday night that we rocked up, so I'm not too sure of how busy it ever gets. But these things are always kind of random, aren't they? It could just depend on the night or what's on television.
One thing I forgot to mention, actually, about the single guy thing.
Yeah.
What I found really reassuring was at one point, as the evening progressed and it was getting a little bit later, one of the staff members there popped over and just checked in and said, how was I and how was I finding the night? And then said, we are about to let in another single guy, and we realise that there's probably more single guys here than maybe you were expecting, and how do you feel about there being another one? Now, I don't know if he would have necessarily turned him away if I'd said no, but actually the fact that he took the time to ask me and just made a point of saying, we don't normally let this many in, but I guess from their perspective it was a little bit quiet on the couple front anyway.
Yeah.
So fair play to them for checking in.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
I was very impressed with the overall place.
Yeah.
Drink prices were very reasonable.
Do you know what? They were really reasonable for a bar. You could expect a club like that to be able to get away with like inflating the prices because they're pretty much capped.
Don't tell them that.
Well, no, because I think that's great that they're not overinflating the prices.
It was,
so yeah,
and we didn't have to wait for our drinks to be emptied. People were observant. The barmen were on top form. I
felt my drink was safe at all times, and no one was like going to tamper with it, anything like that. So...
except for when I drank it.
Was it you that reviewed me?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Okay.
So overall, out of 10, what do you think?
Ooh, taking everything into account, and I can't help but take into account the fact that the club, I guess, that night didn't necessarily give me what I was looking for, but equally that's not the club's fault. That's just down to the people that happened to be there that night.
Yeah.
So I think as clubs go, I would be tempted to give it a strong 8 or 9 mambas out of 10.
Really? I'd probably go...
maybe an 8.
7/8.
Okay.
I think... I don't think that they've got the capacity, and they have said that in the future, who knows what they might be able to do with it. But at the moment, it's never going to be really jumping, and as a result, there is a bit of a limit to how many people you'll see there.
Yeah.
That said, that's not their fault. They've made the best of what they've got.
Absolutely.
So, and for me, is it enough of a draw for me to travel up there? That would put it in the upper echelons of a really good club. I think I would definitely, if I was in the area, I would meet people there.
100%.
And if we had people that were on the other end of the country, I'd say this would be a great meeting point.
Absolutely.
If you're in the area, go there.
Definitely.
But for me, it's not enough to draw me out. So I reckon I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay.
An
Yeah,
8.
I think 8's fair.
I think if it was bigger and had a bit more stuff and was a bit more of a draw, I think I'd give it a really strong 8 or 9. But my experience was that on the night there wasn't enough of what interested me. Not their fault, as you said.
No, it's not.
But also the fact that, I don't know whether they get that draw or not on a different night, or
if we were just unlucky that night that there was just quite a lot of single guys
guys,
there, really.
Yeah. And for some that'll be absolutely their thing. And if you're looking for a single guy then and you're in the area,
You'll definitely find some
you'll
there.
definitely find a host of different single guys there. And to be fair to them, they were really nice. And we've encountered some bloody awful single guys in the past.
Yeah,
and
I agree with you. I felt really disappointed when I saw the single guys at first, but then I realised just how well behaved they were. So,
agreed. So, 8 out of 10, Purple Mamba. If you're in the area, go and give it a visit.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're not that far away, go and give it a visit. And if you need to meet some friends in the area, yeah, go and give it a visit.
yeah, no, I agree. I'd like to think we will go back there.
I think we will do. I think it's just going to be a case of
the circumstances.
Really. So if we had people that we were going to meet near there,
Yeah.
then because I like Nottingham as well, which was quite a nice draw.
Yeah,
So
I
actually
loved it. I
going
would
around
go
the
back.
town was quite fun. So I'd be happy to meet people there. But if we were looking for a play situation, I'd probably want to bring some friends. And I think if you've got a group of you,
Definitely.
like a couple of couples, I think it would be a great little place to haunt around in. And
Yeah.
I think it would be, the atmosphere was really fun, really nice. So yeah, I think in those circumstances, absolutely. Would I say it's as big a draw as somewhere like Vanilla Alternative or Ecstasia or wherever? I don't think it is, but equally, I think those places can be so big that they feel empty, and that's the flip side.
That is the flip side. You're right. I really hope they manage to, at some point in the future, expand a little bit, maybe, or just I don't know. I think it's got a great future.
Yeah,
actually.
Excellent. Right, on to our next feature. So, our special feature, what's that all about, Mrs. H?
Well, you gave us a little hint when you were singing your song.
Well, it's almost quite appropriate, actually, because in the break, we, because we have a bit longer in our break rather than the bit that you hear, if that makes sense. I'm talking a bit more than I need to, but which is not unusual for me, of course. We heard a mysterious noise downstairs.
Several mysterious noises.
So, but the dog didn't bark, which
No.
makes me wonder what was going on.
Poltergeist.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Poltergeist, eh? Well, I'm not sleeping again tonight. So I went downstairs and there was nothing there.
No.
Well, there was, downstairs was still there.
Good, I'm glad to hear that.
Yes, there wasn't anything like untoward.
No. But again, a weird noise.
Yeah, very odd.
Things that go bump in the night.
Oh, I like doing your bumps in the night, dear.
So, what was your topic about then?
Well, it's about ghosting.
Oh, am I going to get all mad?
I think you're going to get all riled up and angry. Also, during the break, you dropped a few C-bombs.
Yes.
Like about 400 of the fucking things.
And maybe a few.
Yeah, that's true. The reason why we're talking about this is actually we had a, I don't know if you follow our Twitter, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but if you don't, we're at Bedhoppers UK. Nice, see what I did there?
Yeah, I like
You can
it.
follow us. We mentioned about a meet that we had booked.
Yes.
So after we saw that lovely, lovely couple that we mentioned in the last episode,
Yeah, you mean the ones that did turn up, yeah?
the ones that did turn up, we had a meet in place to catch up with another new couple in the area.
Yeah. Yes,
Now,
we did.
we'd originally set a date with them, and they changed it because they were moving house.
Which is fine and
is absolutely
acceptable. And they kept in touch about that.
They did. I've got to say, if you do hear any weird purring, it's not a ghost. It's the cat who is now up in my grill.
He is loving you.
Yes, but I'm allergic to him. It's not good.
But he likes rubbing his cat all over you.
Get out of my face. So, we'd arranged a date with this couple,
We
and
had.
it was due to be the Friday, wasn't it?
Yes.
And we were due to catch up with them then. But they said they're going to be too tired because of all the move and everything, and we thought, fine.
And that was
Now,
fine.
we hadn't progressed to Kik. We were just using fabswingers.com as the messaging system.
Mm-hmm.
And over the week, the messages got significantly shorter and with less information, but they still were affirmative in the fact that we were going to meet on Sunday night.
We checked in, we made sure, we were like, it's still okay to meet? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I agree, the message's tone changed a little bit.
It was almost as if someone else was sending those messages.
I agree completely.
So out we traipsed. We got all dolled up, as one does.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, there was like a vague level of dolling up. It wasn't like a maximum. But I had a sneaking suspicion that they weren't going to show.
And why was that?
Something about it just didn't feel right, and I should have trusted my swing gut.
Do you think that was the fact that the messages had changed in tone a little bit, or they just didn't seem as keen? Or
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of the change in tone, a little bit of the I don't know, it just didn't feel like it was someone that was bothered about meeting you.
It was like high effort.
It was.
It was us having to do the checking in and suggesting venues and times, and it felt very much like we were doing all the running.
And to be fair, sometimes that happens, and we've met people where that's the case.
Life is a thing for people, and we don't know people's circumstances, and they may be busy with families or whatever.
And we knew they were new to the area, so we knew that might come into play. So we thought, we'll go out. So we got there.
Yeah.
10 minutes early. Taxis.
Got there on time.
And we had a drink.
Yeah.
And we waited.
And we waited.
So we got to about 15:15 the time they were due to arrive.
Yeah.
And then we sent them a, hey...
Well, you'd sent a message already to say we're here.
Yep.
And then you sent another message to say, hey.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And we were looking around the bar to see if it was anyone that would have fit the criteria in the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Nothing.
Bearing in mind, and I think this is where we were probably a little bit foolish, we hadn't exchanged face pictures.
No, but there was a description in the profile.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm trying to remember in the early messaging days, was there not some picture exchange? Because they tend to drop off, don't they?
Yeah, the Fab lets you have an option where you can send pictures.
And after a couple of hours it disappears.
Yeah, it disappears. Yeah. So it's quite possible that had happened.
But even so, there was no one in the bar that remotely resembled a couple looking for another couple.
Yeah.
Like, oh, is it them? Or looking around, looking a bit lost.
Mm.
No.
So, in the end, we waited an hour in the bar.
Yeah, we did.
You got quite changry at that point, didn't you?
I was really hungry. We'd arranged to go out and have some food together.
Well,
that was the annoying thing. It's not as though we just said, oh, if you're in the area and passing, have a drink. We'd actually made plans to go and eat together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but the good thing was, we got a bottle of wine.
That was really good.
It was a fucking brilliant bottle of red.
It was an amazing bottle of wine.
It was lovely. I think I posted a picture of it on Twitter. So if you want to find out what it is, head there.
Yeah, because it looked like it said Lingam.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was very tasty. Anyway, very nice. And then we had to order a little bit of bread because you were going to keel over or else.
Yeah, I was super hungry.
So they still hadn't read our messages. We still hadn't had a response.
No.
So we decided, fuck it. We're just going to go and get some food.
Yeah.
And then on a Sunday night, proceeded to drink another bottle of red and have some really, really lovely pizza.
But, part of the reason that we chose to have as much to drink, I think, as we did that night was because we were just so annoyed and disappointed, I think, by the lack of manners. And we got progressively more vitriolic with our... And another thing... Why are people so rude? So we got progressively annoyed, I think it's fair to say, and we were determined then to have a good night of it.
Well, and I think, between the two of us, we had a really nice night. So our night wasn't ruined, but I think we did have to switch expectations a little bit around what that night involved. Now, it was never ever going to be a play date. It was always going to be just a social.
Yeah.
We'll show you around the town. We'll introduce you to some different places and get to know them. And then we spent time trying to figure out why they didn't catch up with us. Is it a personal thing? Is it a is it a house thing, an emergency?
Or, yeah.
And then so we came home at the end of the night. It was still hadn't heard. Next day, still haven't heard.
Okay, but it's important also to point out at this stage that we knew they had been online.
At least 5 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even though the messages went unread, there is an option to do that on Fab where you can actually be online, but still you can click on the message and immediately unread it again.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we suspect that's what had happened in this circumstance.
Yeah.
So by the end of the first day of not hearing back, you were feeling quite put out by this.
Well, you did, I believe. Did you not send a message at the end of the night saying, "Oh, what a shame we didn't catch up. It would have been nice to say hi."
Yeah. Perfectly nice message.
And again, they'd been online, so we knew they had been online several times and probably seen that.
I don't think they were online that evening.
I think they did.
Did they? Okay, maybe it was
That's
later
why I
on
was
in the
so
evening.
cross.
Yeah. Okay. So the following day then, you sent them a message.
I did. And that message was not downright rude. However, it was a little more terse.
You think?
In its approach. Because by this point, they'd been online multiple times throughout the course of that day.
Yep.
And it was very obvious that they were completely ignoring our messages. Because if it'd been an emergency, why on earth would you be logging on to Fab?
Yeah.
Like, you just wouldn't do that, would you?
No. Well, I would, but, you know.
Oh, emergency, I better check Fab and not bother to reply to some messages. Brilliant.
Yeah. Hang on, the wife's arm is hanging off. I'm just going to check in. Oh, we've got a very look there.
Yeah, so I was so cross by this point, and I did send them a message and just said, look, you know, for what it's worth, I hope everything is okay, because I was genuinely, I hope everything is all right. However, it would be really nice if we had an explanation.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I said. I didn't swear, I didn't say anything horrifically rude, but I was clearly pissed off.
Yeah. And this is the first time, really, that we've been ghosted, isn't it?
Yes, it is. 100%.
So that message went unread in the way that it probably was read, but put immediately onto read for a couple of days, and then all of the messages have subsequently been deleted. They're still on the site. Now, I think what frustrated us
It gets worse, though,
is that they put a message, a status update on their account.
They put a couple up, actually, over the course of those few days. One of them saying, oh, we're all settled in, we've moved house, we can't wait to ruin the locals, or something to that effect, around, you know, a really sort of, hey, we're around and we're available.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Why would you do that?
I know. If you could spend time updating your fucking status, you can,
yeah,
at the very least, get back to us.
Have a decency. And you know what? I don't think I would even have been annoyed if they'd
change their mind,
or message to say, sorry, it's a no.
Yeah.
I would have been absolutely fine, because at least they would have had the manners to tell me we're not turning up.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, we didn't turn up, this happened. They could have lied, for God's sake. I wouldn't have cared.
Yeah.
But just the complete lack of, you know, response is just too much.
So we found this very, very frustrating.
Yes.
And as an experience, it was quite interesting to sort of go through that, because normally we try and reply to every message that we get.
Yeah, we do.
Both as the bed hoppers and also on our own account.
And, okay, we might not always reply immediately or even within the same day, occasionally, depending on what the message is about.
Yeah.
But we do always reply.
Yeah.
Even if it's with no.
Yeah. So we found that whole experience very, very interesting and very different to what we've been used to, or certainly different to the way that we try and handle things. So ghosting, I don't think there's really anything you can do about it once someone ghosts you.
Well, you could be less than professional and very childish, and you could throw all your toys at the pram and mirror their behaviour.
That's true.
Tempting though it is, that's probably not the right way forward, because it makes you as bad as them.
Yeah, that's true.
Equally, you kind of feel obliged to point out to other people just how bad it feels.
Yeah, I think it's almost like you want it to be a TripAdvisor kind of thing,
Yeah.
where you can say, "Oh, this pair was a right bunch of assholes," and we're a no-show, and then have that as a decarded mark. I suspect that would be a very dangerous feature to have.
I think
on the
it
site.
would in this particular lifestyle, yes, because let's face it, you don't know people, you're not dating them, and there's going to be people who are flaky and just pull out, and because they're never going to meet you. They don't care.
Yeah.
And they don't attach any emotional significance to that. But equally, it's bad manners.
Well, I think the flip side is though I would want our friends and the people that we've met in the lifestyle to know that the potential for that time wasting is there.
Yeah, me too.
And they may treat them differently. There's every chance they may do that. But at the same point, if you have a bad experience, you want to tell people about it so they don't go through the same thing.
And you can't help but wonder why as well. I think it's still an unanswered question for me. Why did you just feel you couldn't reply to our messages? Just saying sorry, a simple, we changed our mind, or something came up.
Yeah.
To this day, I don't understand why.
No, but then no one owes you anything, dear. That's the problem, is that so they can do whatever they like.
But the problem is I have an expectation of basic manners.
I know. And
with everyone I meet, not just in this lifestyle.
I know.
And I get very upset when people don't behave like decent human beings.
Quite often people don't behave decent human beings.
I know.
And particularly in the lifestyle, we found that there are occasionally people who don't. And
my expectations are just not met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things that really did speak volumes to us is actually the couple that we met last time that we spoke about on our previous episode. It made us actually it really made the situation of meeting them that much better.
Right, because everything felt so much nicer with them.
Yeah, it was a really nice, easy meet. They turned up, they were there, they chatted to us, they've stayed in contact, and it's actually made me value that relationship much more.
Me too. So this whole ghosting thing then, do you think there's anything we could have done differently or we could do to mitigate a future ghosting?
Well, I think one of the things I would suggest is actually to go into those sort of kick chats. Or the WhatsApp or whatever it is. Maybe not WhatsApp because you have to give away your phone number.
Yeah, Kik is safer because at least you're not exchanging numbers.
But at the very least, I think actually having that level of, or increased level of contact would probably help a bit.
I agree.
I think it's difficult with them because they're not local. So quite often, if it's someone that's local to us, we can ask our friends that are in the other area as to whether they've met them or check for varies from our friends. So we can get at least a decent sense of the sort of people they hang around with. It's very difficult for us to do that if they're coming from somewhere very, very different. So I'd also use that as a standard check, I think. And I think it's also a bit of following your gut instincts. Now, you know, I as I said to you before we went, I had a sneaking suspicion that they weren't going to show.
It, didn't you? Yeah.
So I probably should have dropped them a message straight away at that point and said, guys, are you going or not?
Yeah, just be honest.
If we don't hear back from you by X time, we'll assume it's a no-show, and maybe that's a way to do it, just to have that built-in extra check. I think, fortunately, we tend to have a good time by ourselves anyway, so you know it was okay. But the emotional impact to us, it was just really frustrating. But what I really did like, actually, what I really loved about this situation is that we posted on Twitter that we'd been ghosted. God, I missed a fucking Twitter today, aren't I? Blah, 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 blah. Twitter's so great. Find us on Twitter. But the number of people that reached out and actually said, yeah, we've been there. We've sat through it too. It's happened to us.
Yeah. Well, that's a shame that people can relate to it so easily because it means there's some rotters out there.
There are some rotters, but at least everyone else is in the same fucking boat as us.
Yeah, I know.
But no, it was really nice of people just to offer some sage advice, to get in touch and just generally be decent human beings.
Rally around you.
Yeah, and rally around you.
Feel better.
Yeah, and that was a really, really sweet moment, and that meant quite a lot to us, I think, sitting there getting the odd message, and even a couple of days later, people were still sort of dropping us the odd piece of information, and that made a difference.
Isn't it strange, though, how upset you can allow yourself to feel from people you've never met before?
Yeah, it's kind of, well...
You take it personally, regardless.
You do, and I think the thing is, though, is that part of the excitement of this whole thing is meeting someone new, is going on a bit of an adventure. And if you're looking forward to that adventure, which you should be, you know, you might have mixed emotions, but you generally should be looking forward to it. You put yourself in a frame of mind of what could happen and what it could be.
Yeah, you build yourself up and be ready for something, don't you?
Yeah, and whilst play is off the table... You're hoping that you're going to make new connections and make new friends, meet people that are exciting, or at the very least hear something interesting. And to not have that, I mean, I didn't hear anything interesting that night at all because I spent my time with you. But Why are you laughing like the Count? Ah. No orgasms. One orgasms. Ah.
Well, I definitely proved I could put pizza away.
Yeah, well, we know that. We know that.
Pizza and wine.
Pizza and wine night, which is absolutely
Screw
fine.
you, no show people. I'm just going to stuff my face down with pizza and wine. It's all your fault. I've fallen off a diet wagon.
Yeah, send them the bill. It'll be fine.
I'm going to blame them for it.
Yeah.
Well,
3 sessions with a personal trainer and the cost of 1 pizza and 2 bottles of wine. I'm sure they'll cough up, given the fact they've not even responded to a single fucking message we've sent them.
How annoying.
So I think the other thing that you can do to mitigate that risk is actually you could meet at a club. But the problem we've got with that is there aren't any fucking clubs that are near us where you can do that.
No, I agree.
And I think had we had the option to meet at a club, we probably would have, with people like that, I guess, where we weren't 100% sure, we probably would have said, we'll meet you at the club. And, great, if you're there, come and see us. And if you're not, doesn't matter.
Then, yeah, you have other options available to
Yeah.
you. I really hope this doesn't happen a lot to new people, though, going into this kind of situation, because I think it could very easily knock your confidence.
Yeah, I think.
And we were lucky enough, I think, in our early days not to experience ghosting.
Yeah, that's true. And my advice to anyone that's new, or indeed anyone that's going through it, is actually try not to let it get to you. It's difficult, and it did get to us a little bit, to be fair.
Yeah, it rattled my cage a bit.
But also, we used that time to spend with each other in a really positive way. We used it to surf the web to see who else we could find. And we used it to plan some of our adventures for the rest of the year. So, and it's given us a topic to talk about on the podcast. So
we have a little impromptu date, which
yeah.
is fine. And I always love an impromptu date with you.
Yeah.
But it was just, I think, just a level of frustration that you, as you say, you make arrangements, you put yourself in that mindset, you get all ready, and then it's like, oh, thanks. Yeah. Cheers, Sam. And now I've lost faith, I suppose, to some extent, once again, in some of the people that you kind of interact with.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a shame.
It's difficult. And I think the thing that annoys me is that they had a number of verifications on their page. Mm-hmm. So people have met them successfully, one assumes.
Are you real? Really? Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. So, if you're new or if you're just trying to avoid the whole ghosting situation, we'd say try and meet at a club if you can. Check the varies, keep the communication up.
Definitely move to a kick chat, I think, because at least then there's kind of no escape from it because you're in a direct communication with them, aren't you?
Well, I think the volume of communication ramps up, certainly for us.
Yeah.
And that's not always the case. Some people just don't like to do that sort of thing. But it does put your mind at ease if you're in constant communication. Yeah. So you're exploring personalities, what you like, all this kind of stuff. And plus it builds a level of flirtatiousness for when you actually turn up. The fact is we kind of sort of half-assed this meet, really. And we didn't do as much due diligence as we should have done. So it didn't pan out.
No.
Hence why I don't think we were that bothered. It pissed us off, but it's not.
I think it pisses off you because of just manners.
Yeah.
Manners maketh man.
Yeah, exactly that. So then, Mrs. H, what have we got coming up? I think our next club visit is going to be Townhouse.
I hope so. I'm quite looking forward to it.
I think
I've heard great things.
It's a long old drive, but we've heard some awesome things, and lots of people have been getting in touch and telling us that this is the next place we should go to.
I agree.
You agree that people have been telling us that we should go to Townhouse? Well done. Yes, I have read some stuff, and that's what it said.
No, I agree that we should definitely make a trip there.
Yeah.
And see what we make of it.
I think that's a good shout. We've got a date coming up.
I'm really excited about this date.
Really, really excited.
Yeah.
I just spaffed. I was that excited.
Lovely.
I know. Oh, you couldn't tell because I managed to control it. What? What's the cat got to do with it?
Well, he's in the vicinity. He's in the first 3 rows.
Got to do with it. So we've got a date coming up.
Yeah.
And it's not that far away until the big mansion party thing. The big ass, not the big ass party.
The big ass party?
Yeah,
what party
the big
are you
ass
going
party.
to?
The party with the big asses.
I hope not.
Well, the party? The big party?
The weekend retreat party.
The weekend retreat.
I'm excited about it.
Mm-hmm. Talking of retweeting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, don't forget that you can find us on Twitter at Bedhoppers UK.
Oh, you and your Twitter, man.
Don't forget you can also send us an email. What's the email address, wife?
Is it on Twitter? You probably know. You talk about Twitter.
Shut up. You're not my real dad.
Well, it's probably bedhoppersuk@gmail.com.
I think so. It's something like that.
Something like that.
Something like that. You know, you can find it there.
Is that right? Am I actually right?
I think you might be right. It pains me to say it.
I'm normally right.
What?
What?
You
Wait,
can't
what?
That's not true.
I'm always right.
No, you're not always right.
You can't prove nothing.
I can prove everything.
Go on,
I've got
then.
certificates
Go on,
to
names,
back up.
dates, times, places.
Look, name all 3 musketeers.
Yeah. Aramis, Jazz, Mythos.
Axe.
Axe. Oriental.
Legolas.
Africa.
Gimli and Strider.
Yeah, nailed it. I mean, there's exponentially more musketeers than ever there were now, but there's at least 6 there we've mentioned.
There's only ever like 4.
Look, I'm just sticking with D'Artagnan.
Are you?
I know where I am with that.
D'Artagnan.
D'Artagnan.
Not
And his
D'Artagnan.
3 musket hounds.
Musket hounds.
Yeah. That's right.
So, thank yous for this week. We've got some thank yous to the
me.
to you.
For remembering the musket hounds.
Yes. Thank you to you for remembering the Musket Hounds. Also, thank you to the Purple Mamba Club for having us.
Such great hospitality.
Yes, lovely place.
Yeah.
Please go and check them out. No thanks to our ghosting arsehole couple.
I hope they're listening. Screw you.
Good guy, the guy home. Quite literally, which is what we do. Anything else you want to add?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I think you've twittered on for a while now.
Really? Oh, thank you. So supportive, so wonderful.
Always.
Right. Do you want to do the thing, wife?
I do.
Go on then. Do the
Well,
thing.
thank you for hopping into our bed.
Can you do it a little bit more sexy, like salaciously?
What, like Salacious Crumb?
Yes.
Like Salacious Crumbs in our bed?
Yeah.
I don't like crumbs in our bed.
Really?
No.
Okay. You're not going to do the thing.
Oh, I just did the thing.
Do the thing better.
Oh, good grief. Well, thank you for hopping into our bed.
That wasn't sexy.
Oh, shut up.
Do it sexy.
No.
Do
Do
it sexy.
some more.
Go on, like, oh, thank you for upping in our bed.
I am not sure what that accent was and what that tone was.
That was
but
your sexy voice.
No.
That was a literal recording of your voice that I just played back.
You said I'm a liar.
Thank you for upping into our bed.
No one is going to hop into our bed with that accent.
It's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy.
Brian, put that Welsh tart down.
This is a public announcement. If you'd like to be the very best, if you'd like to catch them all, if you'd like to put them to the test, then please sign up for Mrs. H's Pokemon Academy. Please send her a friend request via the medium of Twitter and she'll accept it. Remember to send her presents every single day. And you become Ultra Friends. All on Pokemon. Or you could just do something more interesting instead. Like, anything, really.
Now, you forgot to say something absolutely amazing about our whole trip.
Our
trip to Nottingham.
Well, this is where I was actually going.
Oh, really?
Yes, I also mentioned this on Twitter.
Uh-huh.
We, on the way up to Nottingham, we stopped in a service station, didn't we?
Yes.
And you started chatting up the barista in this service station.
Using my Pokemon knowledge.
In this Costa. And you actually exchanged friend codes
I
on
might
Pokemon.
have written my friend code on a napkin and gave it to him.
You did. You
I
absolute floozy.
And then within 20 seconds, he added me and sent me a gift.
I don't know what horrored me more, the fact that he was at a higher level than you, or the fact that you actually gave him the fucking bit of paper in the first place. Worryingly, he looked a little bit like Ramsay Bolton.
Well, yes. I mean, I wasn't chatting him up from the view that I was going to try and be hooking up with him.
Yeah, you say that.
But I was just all excited that someone was excited about Pokemon as I was. And I gave him my friend code and a napkin, to which his counterpart, looked over from the coffee maker and kind of raised his eyebrow a little bit. And said barista scuttled off and added me on Pokemon.
You absolute floozy.
Best chat-up line ever.
So, if you play Pokemon Go, and there's no reason why you should anymore.
But I've got to be the very best.
Like no one ever was.
Yeah.
I know, right? Why not send us your friend code?
It's my destiny.
Yep, and Mrs. H will gladly add you
I will.
to her Pokedex
Yes.
of random people
Yeah.
that send her presents. And she'll occasionally send you a
I
present too.
always send gifts.
Do
I'm
you?
a very good friend to have in Pokemon.
Really?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I don't know how it works, and I couldn't care less. So
You
there we
don't-
go.
You give zero shits about it.
Pika, pika, pika.
Well, I do not choose you.